So, guys, speaking of some teams that got off to a hot start, maybe like the way I would in a race, and then quickly dying out by the middle of it, the Packers are now 3-4, 3-1 to 3-4, 3 losses in a row. You don't see that very often.
And we're not talking losses to good teams.
Bad losses.
The Jets are good.
This is the stretch of the season where the Packers were supposed to be winning because it gets harder for them. This was their time.
Road games at Buffalo and Philadelphia now coming up. You play the Titans.
So Buffalo or Green Bay is very well.
Well, you're the
at
NFC North guy. Like if say whenever they play, which I'm sure is soon, the Vikings go into Green Bay. There's no way you're confident.
I still don't expect to win in Green Bay because the Vikings haven't looked all that impressive this season. But that's the very end of the season. I think that's week 18.
But yeah, I don't know. Again, Aaron Rodgers is not like Tom Brady. I think Aaron Rodgers hasn't looked like that bad. His receivers are just horrible.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, no, we all predicted this going into the season that it would be an issue, but I don't think we thought it would be this bad. Where Aaron Rodgers, he just doesn't trust anyone, and when he does, they drop the football.
Well, how could
Romeo
you?
Dobbs had what? 3 or 4 drops this weekend?
Terrible.
Yeah, how can you trust anybody on that team?
It's bad when Aaron Rodgers is going to the media saying that some of the starters shouldn't be playing right now.
Yeah. Who's his top target?
Well, it's bad when Sammy Watkins, who is like 18 years, he hasn't been in his prime since college, and he's the only guy running down the field.
And it's Aaron Jones.
The thing about Green
Aaron
Bay
Jones
too.
is like his top guy.
Yeah, right. Really. With no more Devontae Adams, the offense isn't super scary, and their defense isn't good.
They got to trade for someone.
You know what? They didn't even, people are also forgetting, and I know he wasn't a big guy there, but Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he was the deep threat.
He was good, yeah.
Yeah, and he had a big catch yesterday with the Chiefs.
He was the second best receiver, I think.
So they lost both those guys, and they didn't do anything to bring anyone in. They got Watkins, and that was it.
I don't
Watkins,
know who that GM is, but he needs to be fired.
Was it Gutekunst still?
I don't know who it is, but if you're drafting Love, a backup quarterback in the first round, when he also is terrible. You watched him play that other game last year.
You know that Green Bay has no faith in him.
Yeah, so why are you not drafting offensive skill players? Their defense is not that bad. They look pretty good. They have a good.
Well, because they've been drafting defensive players.
It's very clear why you don't draft an offensive skill player when they drafted Jordan Love, right? Because Aaron Rodgers was coming off his worst season as a pro. They were 6-9. Rodgers looked washed. It's very rare for players to go from terrible season to really, really, really good.
To back-to-back MVP.
Okay, I guess so.
But even with that, Ziggy, they haven't done anything after he won the first MVP. They didn't do anything.
Yeah,
they still had Devontae, but they didn't do anything to bring in another dude. And then in this year, they knew that they were going to struggle there. Look, I guess they tried to help with Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs, but neither of them are really progressing the way they wanted.
They knew that Aaron Rodgers was carried by Devontae Adams.
Right. I was going to say, Rodgers is phenomenal. He's like a Hall of Fame quarterback, one of the best ever. A lot of the time when you have a guy like Devontae Adams, or like when Big Ben had Antonio Brown, you can throw it in his area, he's coming down with it.
Yeah.
Rodgers can't throw it. He's got to make a freaking pinpoint ball to these guys. And they still drop it.
With Ben and Brown, I always thought that Brown looked bad when Ben didn't play. I thought Brown disappeared.
That's a fair argument. That's a fair argument. So Brown also made Ben look very good too.
Yes.
It was a great partnership.
Yeah. Same with Rodgers and Adams. Now Adams is no longer there.
But when you watch, I think that Rodgers still has it. I think Brady's starting to decline.
Rodgers
is still really good.
There's no one to throw to.
Yeah. He's also been hurt. He's been a little banged up. It's tough.
But when you look at the Packers and the Bucks, I have much more faith in the Bucks being able to turn this season around.
Well, only because the schedule in the division. Like Minnesota, 3 games up now in Green Bay?
It's crazy. Yeah, Minnesota.
Who do you play this week?
We play Arizona and Green Bay's at Buffalo. So the Vikings host the Cardinals. If they win that and Green Bay loses in Buffalo, the 4 games end already a win.
But this is another thing, obviously. Or I still think it's early in the season. This is one of those things where I'll be rooting for them again, obviously, as being a part of the AFC East. If somehow Green Bay goes in there and wins, which again, it's the NFL, you never know what could happen. The whole tune of the season changes like that, and now you're thinking,
they've done this a few times. They've done it a few times. What was it? Relax. What was the other one he did? It was Relax, and there was one more.
I think just like a we'll be fine or something like that. I don't know.
Something like that.
But I think Green Bay goes to Buffalo and gets killed.
They did kind of get screwed a little against the Commanders too,
but you can't be winning by double digits.
Oh, I know. You can't.
Washington.
You got to blow them out. But there was a pick six that got called back. All this stuff, or fumble 6, whatever it was.
The Giants and Jets also, those losses, they're competitive teams. The New York teams
you should not lose to the Jets teams. At home.
You need to beat them.
I was just about to say a good Green Bay Packers team.
Wins that game by
no
double
knock on
digits.
any New Jersey football. They're playing good football teams. any really good Packers team doesn't lose neutral field to the Giants in a game they're up by double digits. Doesn't lose in Lambeau to the Jets.
You can't lose to the Giants up 10 in the fourth quarter.
No.
You can't do if you're going to be a Super Bowl contender. And then the Jets, again, I can't say like you can't. They got blown out by them, like it wasn't even close. But you should be beating that team.
The Jets double-digit win in Lambeau Field.
Yeah. I mean, you can't. You can't do that.
It's tough to win in the NFL. But Washington, you can't lose that game either.
As a fellow Vikings fan, Ziggy, when you watch the Packers, at what point do you think you'll feel comfortable that, okay, this is Minnesota's going to win this division? Because I'm not there yet, but one or two more losses. You are.
I've been watching these Packer games like Draymond Green, just clapping, having a good time, laughing.
They don't look.
That's how I feel right now. I may have to see something huge to not think the Vikings are winning this division.
They don't look good at all.
No, they don't. I'm right there with you, Ziggy. There's almost as much as a Viking win, I enjoy a Packer loss.
Things can change, right? But teams very rarely turn around starts like this. It's much more common for a really good start to go bad than a really terrible start where nothing's clicking to be good. And the Packers just don't strike me as a team. It's not like Tom Brady's first year with the Bucs where they have the talent, it's just not clicking.
And unless they make a trade or they bring in...
For whom? This is the thing. Everyone's talking about elite wide receivers that can be traded.
Claypool's the guy that I've heard a lot about.
Go get Elijah Moore. Take him from us.
But still, I don't think Claypool won more.
Elijah Moore is not the guy who's going to turn around your season.
Yeah, I look at that receiver.
They should get DJ Moore. Is who they should get.
Chase Claypool's good, but not turn Green Bay into a slaughterhouse.
He's not Devontae Adams.
Well, listen,
he's not Devontae Adams. He's very good though.
He's a very good receiver.
So the Vikings are 4-1.
It's 5-1.
5-1. Sorry. If they win this week against the Cardinals, which I think they should, especially off a bye.
That's in Minnesota, right?
This is the kind of game
that's in Minnesota,
right? Lose. Yeah.
You should win that game.
We should, but we struggle a lot with.
It's off a bye. You got to do something.
Look, again, I agree. We 100% should, but I've watched this team for 24 years. I know. If
the Vikings win this week, in my mind, I know that the Bears just beat the Patriots. They're irrelevant. The Vikings should sweep the Bears. They already have a win against the Lions. They should sweep them. That's 4 wins.
They always struggle in Chicago.
Even if you get that 4 wins, even if somehow you do lose to the Packers twice, the division is basically lost.
They already beat the Packers.
They did beat them. Yes. I'm sorry. They did win
if Minnesota's 6-1 and Green Bay's now 3-6 in Buffalo, I think that's it.
That should be.
That should be. Yeah.
And Minnesota's schedule, if you go through it, it's. They play the Jets and Giants at home.
They did win week 1. I don't know what I'm talking about.
The one saving grace for Green Bay, in my mind, would be if their upcoming games were against Houston or the Steelers. Or games like that. But they're not. They could lose 4 games to Buffalo, Philadelphia, Tennessee, and Dallas.
Yeah. It's really stunning what happened.
There's some frauds in the NFL this year.